Hello and welcome to Seven Bridges Radio, home to probably the UK's #1 lacrosse show, Unnecessary Guffness, presented to you by Tom, yes he is Polly Tully Dies, Higgs, half man, half zebra, and myself, Dara. And no, I will not tell you where Pot of Gold is. This week we are missing the man himself, Higgs, but don't worry, we do have something else, and that is a full hour to bring you all things lacrosse. So sit back and enjoy.
Yes, hello, welcome to Unnecessary Guffness. I'm taking my time with the intro. There's no need to rush. We've got a whole hour of lacrosse.
Feels good.
We've upgraded. We've got rid of Higgs. We're on the up and up. It's all coming back. We've got just for today. He's working. Higgs is working. Dara's here with us, of course.
Ooh, top of the morning to you.
Well, and we're going to power through, hopefully, an hour of lacrosse. This is awesome. We're on a Thursday now. Appreciate all the love and support over the Saturday shows. That's what's led us to this big boy now.
New horizon. And we got to give a shout out to 300. Over 300.
We're like 320 now. We've got like 50 followers in a day out of nowhere. Shout out all you. Yeah, thanks for the support.
I did put it on the PLL Premier League Lacrosse Pioneers group.
That might be where some of it came from.
Put an episode up, a link to our YouTube channel, which is...
a YouTube channel, yeah. Just slide that one in there. We have a YouTube now.
If you don't catch us live, don't worry. We'll have a video up there. Listen to our dulcet tones straight after. And
we should actually have video now, shouldn't we? Not just audio.
I think it's going to be our two ugly mugs, but sorry about that.
What?
Beautiful visages. Rather than just a little graphic that had a kind of a pulsating voices.
I like that, but you'll be able to see us now. So if you do miss us, or if you catch all of it but want to see us as well as hear us, then have a watch. I've branded myself for the first recorded show. I've got my Northumbria jersey on. I've got some Northumbria merch in my background. I've got a little purple light over there for Seven Bridges. I'm feeling good.
Got Adidas. Used to be an Adidas ambassador in the greatest university in Newcastle University. I got
which one?
Newcastle University.
Oh yeah. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, the best one. And then we've got a blowpipe, which used to kill things in Africa, in the continent of Africa, and a crazy mask. That's actually what I wear playing lacrosse.
That's a good backdrop. I like that. So now all the people who are listening and aren't watching, you can close their eyes and we know exactly what they're seeing.
Oh, it's so true, actually. Yeah, this is a terrible lacrosse background, but this is our study here in Waterford, Ireland. Welcome all. So yeah, completely new format. Hopefully it will mean that we can expand, start doing some more stuff. We're hoping for interviews with people. We're hoping for get some guests on, do some episodes with people who maybe know more about, box lacrosse or something, or women's lacrosse, something that we're not as clued up on. Hopefully get out and about, do some shows, not just in this with these lovely backgrounds, but hopefully out and about. Maybe potential for a pub episode at some point, which it's definitely, that's definitely more for us than it is for you, the listeners, the pub episode. I'm sure it'll be great, but that's definitely just we want to sit in a pub. And we want an excuse to sit in a pub and talk about lacrosse. We're going to have to drink beers, obviously. Unfortunately, being an Irishman, I'm not a fan of beer. You're not a fan of beer? I just have to do it for the stereotype. You can't let the side down. Yeah, you've got to keep it going for the. Keep it going. Take one for the team. Yeah, being a good Irishman, just keeping the stereotype going strong. But it'd be unreal to have, especially a little beer sesh where we can hopefully get some people in to actually watch and cheer us. And 100% get people down, some of the local lacrosse community. As well as that, now we are live and we've got an hour now, so we can take our time now. If you want to send us any questions or interact with us during the show, just message us on Instagram. You can message us on Twitter as well. Our Instagram is Guffness, I think. I'll just double check. If we get anything wrong, which we probably will, please feel free to write in and tell us that we don't know what we're on about. Unnecessary Guffness, all one word. We're on there. So yeah, drop us a message if you like. Definitely. And it's so nice just to not have to rush through, because we were doing our 30
30-minute show. And honest to God, there is so much to talk about lacrosse. But
even the weeks when nothing happens and we think, how are we going to fill this half an hour? We end up rambling. And then we got through.
But we're connecting with the viewer, with the people, with the listeners. You know what I mean?
It's not rambling. It's connecting. Well, it kind of brings me on to, I think we're quite lucky because obviously this being our first week doing an hour, we're not sure exactly how to pace it. So we're figuring it out. I was kind of worried that maybe we wouldn't know how to fill an hour, but every cloud has a silver lining. We didn't have a show last week. Like he's got his I've got my notes up here as well. I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. We get 45 minutes in and I forget what I've been planning. But we didn't have a show last week because of some technical issues, which means we've got a little bit extra to fill in on. So I guess it could be good to just start with what we might have covered last week. Not a load of PLL news, pretty much NCAA stuff. So we'll go over the last 2 weeks of NCAA, I guess, to start off with. If you want to take that away.
I've definitely thrown away last week's notes, but I was going to start off with PLL. I have them here. So PLL, there is a bit of news from them. So obviously we've got like the collegiate draft coming up, but also
that's very soon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very soon.
I should have checked.
Hence, we know that Mike Sowers is going to be numero uno.
I think we're all agreed on that. But then, I mean, we'll probably come back to this, but the way our predictions went 2 weeks ago, there's a good chance Michael Sowers won't even get drafted because we've all spot on.
well, one person that definitely spot on. Yeah. Let's just get it out of the way nice and early. Higgs, don't listen to him. If you're putting if you're betting, stay away from. Do the opposite because that man, he guessed 0 from 5. That's his record right now.
Really? Was it that many? I knew it was bad.
Well, okay. So
Duke,
Tom, you read out the message.
Denver. Yeah. What was it? I messaged him like, what were your predictions? Because I forgot. I forgot what he said, and I think he said Duke, UNC, and Denver. All 3 of his calls for them, he got wrong last week. I'm getting this week and last week mixed up because I watch them all on. I don't watch them live. I get too tired. I watch them all on catch up, so I don't watch them in the right order. I watched last week games this week,
and they keep on taking them down really quickly. So you're gonna have to be on the ball. So last week we said Ohio State, Johns Hopkins.
That was it.
Notre Dame, Duke. So obviously I went Notre Dame, fighting Irish. Go Irish.
I went Duke,
and North Carolina, Virginia.
That was a big game.
Yeah, but we obviously got it very wrong. And last week we discussed straight up, there was the grudge match between the New York teams, Syracuse versus Albany. They're both going into this game 5-3, and Syracuse beat them 13-8. So that was like an unreal victory for the Qs, the Big Orange. And I thought this was their kind of comeback, to be honest with you. Really like show what for, but then along came a certain Notre Dame fighting Irish team that absolutely laid the smack down, beating them 18-11 with Patrick Kavanagh, number 51. Like this, the Kavanaghs and Notre Dame is like, I don't know, custard and cream. That's such a bad analogy.
I've got no clue what you're trying to say with that. You're going to have to elaborate.
It's like strawberries and cream is what I meant.
Strawberries and cream. Yeah, that's better.
An Irishman and a pint of water, it's like.
Okay, this specific Irishman. This one Irishman and a pint of water.
And yeah, it's just notorious with that university. He did grab the ball behind a shot, came off the rebound, grabbed the ball behind the back, scored, got absolutely demolished by a defender, rolled out of it, picked himself up like is this just a casual Sunday? Like the man was an absolute monster. And then you just got obviously Will York from the outside, just smashing in absolute 2 bombs. But
so who else scored? Was it Brian Cameron? A very similar rebound behind the back shot this week against Syracuse, North Carolina.
Oh man, was it?
Yeah, very, very, very similar. I made a note of that. It was another one. Shot came off the keeper, caught in midair, another behind the back, put back.
No. I think I did see like a random highlight on the Inside Lacrosse.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the other one, which I didn't see until I think you sent it into the chat. It was pretty good.
I tweeted it.
Another one.
I tweeted, "Oh lordy."
Yeah, that was good game.
Yeah, the big upset last week 2 weeks ago was Johns Hopkins were playing Michigan. Now Michigan have come, the blue, they literally have come from nowhere. Like they were D1. Are they D1 like 4 years now? Which is like baby years. And they're already coming on and beat Johns Hopkins 13-10. Like they are serious, and they only lost to Maryland by like 2 or 3 goals. Like these boys are serious. I think next year they're one to watch.
I didn't catch that game. That must have gone right over my head. I'm looking. I've got stuff up there. Completely went up. There it is.
So Michigan, the keeper John Kirikoff, 62% save rate. Like that's phenomenal for a keeper. And the Johns Hopkins keeper is. I don't like to usually pin it on one person or something, but the keepers, they were at, you had number 8 Josh Curson 36%, and then you had number 15 Ryan Darby, the substitute, at 43%, which isn't bad, but that's to see what shows you the difference. 36 and 62. It's quite a difference. So maybe that's why they scraped a 3-goal win, but seriously, Michigan are coming back strong. Like they are one to watch out for next year.
Yeah, I've just got it up here. They did beat Michigan a bit earlier in the season as well, didn't they? They beat Michigan when we played them away, 14-7. I thought I remembered that. So, especially for Michigan to come back from that, not a demolition, especially against a team like Johns Hopkins, who even when they're not at their best, we know that they can deliver some punishment.
They're legends.
To come back after already, taking one loss to them.
Yeah, isn't that?
Away as well, coming to Johns Hopkins and beating them.
Yeah, Johns Hopkins we're talking about here. We're not talking about any new program. We're talking about like one of the most established like lacrosse teams.
This year though, man, I'm looking at their because I've just got it up here to try and find out what that first one against Michigan was, and I'm seeing a lot of L's. Yeah, 2 for 7.
Yeah, they were 2 for 5 when they came into this game, both Michigan and Johns Hopkins. But yeah, I have a little. Like this week's games, I have obviously Johns Hopkins as well, because on the coming up, when we guessed and Higgs got every single one of them wrong, just to let you know.
Every single one.
Ohio State and Johns Hopkins, they basically needed to win that game to have any chance of getting into the knockout stages, to the championship kind of weekend. And yeah, it's not looking good for Johns Hopkins is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not looking like it's getting any easier for them either.
Really?
Maryland on Saturday.
Oh, the old rivalry, baby.
Yeah. That'll be a very good game for Maryland. I think. My predictions weren't great last week, 2 weeks ago, but I think I'm feeling safer putting money on Maryland this time.
It's tough though. Like seriously, it's so close. And lacrosse, I don't know, especially this season more than any season, you don't know what results are going to fall. Like the things people are doing behind the backs are just like, meh, it's casual. But like in our first year, that'll be on SportsCenter. Now they're doing it week in, week out.
Yeah, that is true. Plays that you see like week in, week out is what would usually be the highlight plays. But you get highlight plays are like 1 a quarter. If it's not like 4 highlight plays in a match, and it feels like a boring game. And that's not because I don't think that's because we're getting impatient. I just think it's just what we used to. The games that I've been watching recently, which granted hasn't been loads, they've been insane.
Level in America, man. Like knowing a couple of them boys. My first experience, it was Denver, the world champs, and the guy in my room went to Princeton, and he literally whipped open this book. It was like as thick as the Bible, and I was like, "What in God's name is this?" Obviously, only playing the sport all of 2 years, and he opened it up, and he was just like, "Oh, this is my plays I have to learn." The thing was ridiculous. It was so heavy. It had everything in there between food, plays, rides, clears. Oh, it's something else. Like they're students on and off the field. Like their IQ is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to go into it like too quickly or if you've got some more NCAA news to come up with before then, but I will just say, just because you mentioned it about the lacrosse IQ, watching that, what are they called? What's the team? I've gone blank, of course, the first 1 hour show.
Denver.
Nah, they just played Syracuse, just absolutely demolished Syracuse.
Oh, North Carolina.
UNC. I completely forgot the abbreviation. I was just going through 3 letters in my head, and none of them were UN or C. I couldn't get it. But yeah, watching that UNC game, I think it was a commentator picked up on this. You can see the plays developing before they happen, and then 9 out of 10 times they're perfectly executed. The knowledge that the guys have watching it is absolutely insane. They know their teammates and they know the other team so well. Yeah. And that's not just UNC. That's most, top class lacrosse in America. But it was really, really apparent in that game.
It's almost like muscle memory to them at this rate. Like they do the repetition so much. Even
the muscles, their brain.
Yeah.
They see it, the vision they have.
It's just pure IQ, and even they go into the detail, even how they pass. So generally you're taught like put your butt end and follow over, but they're like stringent military at it almost, and it has to be up and over, like really like right to the fine detail. It's super incredible, and that's why I like going to training camps or like Irish camps. Like I was a different player after those, because I just looked at the Americans and I was just like, okay, this is what the speed is. This is what like the plays are. This is like how, like the first time I went, I was out of my depth. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. I was just a fish. And now the last time I wanted it to get faster. Yeah. I just, you know what I mean? I wanted to increase the speed even more, so it would throw other people off. And so they just like not have a clue what's going on. And it was pure, just like synchronized movement. You didn't know what you're doing, but you just did it because you had the process in line. Do
you think we'll ever get there over here?
England could, yeah.
You think?
Like Manchester teams, some of them were starting to kick it off.
I mean, like, yeah. When I was playing back around Manchester, when I came up against, it wasn't regular that we were in the same division as these guys. But we met in the cup or anything, with the top Poynton teams, the top Timperley teams.
Yeah.
It was another level. Or even when like we were playing against, one of those teams' second or third teams, and their first team was playing on the pitch next to us.
Yeah.
It was like we were playing a different sport at times. It was like we were playing pop lacrosse and they were playing lacrosse. We may have had plastic sticks.
Yeah, it is insane though. Like my very first game of lacrosse was against Sheffield Steelers.
Good team. Very good team.
Yeah. And I'm coming from Ireland off the old boat.
Tom Johnson, captain of Northumbria Lacrosse, Sheffield Steelers lad.
Oh, he is Depot.
Depot, yeah.
Really good lad.
Who came down to the Knights game.
Legends. Yeah, you're legends for that.
I know.
And yeah, there's other like the guys that told me lacrosse were Steelers. And I just played my first game and there's a guy with a bamboo stick absolutely lacing into me, but I didn't have a clue. I just was like an attack man of all things, playing the sport, I think 2 months, coming from hurling. So I didn't really mind it too much, but I was just like, this sport is my head's just like spinning.
Oh, it is insanity. Like just for, I don't know. I think the speed of it is harder to get used to than the physicality. The physicality, you kind of just have to,
have it or you don't.
When someone like barrels into you, and the first time someone barrels into you and you go flying and it's not called as a foul, you kind of realize, okay, right, this is just what it is. And you just have to get used to it. But the speed of it just takes years. I remember when I first played senior lacrosse, I just never knew where the ball was. I had no clue where the ball was at any times. And I remember one of my first senior games, I was playing on the wing, long stick midi. I picked the ball up on the wing. Someone hits it out, someone picks it up, someone hits it out. We're spinning. I end up coming up with the ball. I think I'm running towards the goal. I think I'm in miles of time, only to realize I'm facing the wrong way, running towards my own net, about to take a shot.
Mate, that's one of my biggest worries when I was a fresher.
Yeah. Oh no. I did it while I was still playing for Ashton, and I think it was my early days of playing senior. Look, I hope it was. That's my excuse anyway. Where I just so disorientated.
Don't worry, they can't see this.
Yeah. No. Big wink.
Wink.
Wink. Wink. That was the last year. No, it wasn't. I was still playing for Ashton. I hope it gets to that level over here. I think
But it's ingrained into the university system. And who creates teams? People that go out of university and have to travel to, like, look at Borders. Like Soapy, who was the keeper for Newcastle Knights, he moved over to Borders and set up his own team. Now they're like a good, decent team, getting a load of secondary school teachers to join lacrosse, and now they love it.
Yeah, it is exciting.
So it's growing and spreading, and it's all starts as a university. And yeah, fair enough. In my first year, we had players coaching players. There was no such thing as a coach. And
that's been most of apart from when I was very young and first started out and I joined the youth system, and we had coaches there for most of my senior career, probably after under 16s. It was, it was coaching each other. I've been lucky enough to have a couple of times where, I was lucky enough to begin with to be taught by a very good, when I was at Ashton, a very good defender who played for England, Anthony.
Nice.
But pretty much after that, as I progressed, it was just every now and then I'd go somewhere, either be one training thing where someone would be, or there'd be some American or someone who'd played in America who would coach you for like a week, and you'd learn more in that week than you learned in the last year. And then you just have to cross your fingers that another American would turn up to some training session somewhere who had this knowledge, who'd played at the highest level.
So we had that in Newcastle, but we had a guy called Toby Hoskins. He played depot and he was also in the Marines. So like he just took notes, and he was just like, learn this. And that was such a good thing as a fresher. Like in hurling, you're told like you have to hit off your left and your right. So you're only as good as your weakest hand. So I just started doing the same principles of hurling or with lacrosse, just like ground ball with my left, ground ball with my right. And then they saw I was using my left hand. And then, they put me lefty attack for Newcastle. And they were just like, well, you're the only one that will do it. So you're now a lefty. And like still to this day, I hold my stick like a lefty. It feels really comfortable at that, even though I am a righty. But,
like the two biggest assets for a lacrosse team in the UK is, are you American? Are you a lefty?
Yeah.
If you're one, great. If you're both, fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're an American lefty or like a Canadian lefty, you're walking onto any team probably. You don't even have to have played lacrosse before. If you've got an accent and you're a lefty, we'll figure the rest out.
Absolutely. You have to thank the coach that came over, like Lacrosse Upon and Sam Russell from Poynton, and he got Bobby Groves, our very first coach, and the coaching I got from him was ridiculous. Simple as like going one-on-one with a keeper, fake it left, and you know what I mean? And I was like, I didn't even think I could do that. So I got to shout out massively to Bobby Groves. He got my journey going on lacrosse. But
annoying, because I did want to call this radio show Lacrosse the Pond, and then I remembered. I remember that he'd already done that. It'd been so good as well.
And we could have come up with such a better logo than a purple splash.
With early days, I quite like it.
I love our little logo, but sorry, we're reminiscing like two old men at the pub here. We got to get back to the games. But
it's good talking a bit about UK lacrosse. I think we needed more of that. Before we do move on, I will just say I had my first training session back yesterday. It was so good. And of course I had to, I lost a glove because of course my first training session back, I'd lose one glove. I rang up, it is there, but of course I lost a single glove first training session. But that was amazing. Just so good to be back.
Oh, did you hit anybody?
Yeah. Not a lot. There was a lot of it was a very warm day and everyone was very unfit. So there was a lot of just doing the basics, doing some basic catching drills, some stuff with the girls team as well. And then the lads went off, did some ground ball stuff. And me and Tom, Captain Tom, decided that we'd missed hitting each other. So we got our gear on and did a few contested ground balls. And it was, I've missed getting hit by Tom. And I've missed hitting Tom.
Man, do you know a little known fact, Tom? Before I even met you, Milo, do you know Milo? Miles Jones?
Milo Jones, yeah. I don't know anyone who calls him Milo. That feels very familiar.
Milo of Wales. Me and him were actually, so I was going to coach Northumbria because Newcastle Uni are doing their own thing. And I was like, well, the best thing for me in university was Derby Day, Newcastle Uni versus the Poly.
Yes.
That was my favorite.
Until your lot pulled out of Stan Calvert because you were too embarrassed that you got beat every time.
Well, no, it's because he took a rowing away because he absolutely destroyed you. He took out half of the hockey. because we destroyed you that
every time.
And then you brought in Gaelic football, which, what are you on about? It's not even a sport.
And lacrosse is. Would probably be most people's arguments. No, I miss Stan Calvert. I never got to do it. Whatever reason it was, I know a lot of the students are fighting.
There was a lot of
I hope it comes back for future students, because it ended the year before I came, so I never got to do it. And it's one of the reasons I came to Northumbria, because obviously I wanted to go somewhere with a lacrosse team. Yeah. And I love the city of Newcastle, Northumbria, of course. I wanted to do. We had a lacrosse team, and I was told about Stan Calvert, this whole event. It sounded great, and I'd have loved to have done that. Even though the entire time I've been at Northumbria, we would have got thrashed by Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 3 years that I played.
But like, that was genuinely my favorite years. We'd have our Stan Calvert. You'd have that absolute during the game. But then it always happened every Stan Cal. We'd always bump into each other. And like Newcastle, Northumbria would just be like, I remember there was the first year our second year we did it, there was a big rivalry. And I remember I just went up and I was just like, went up to one of the lads and I was just like, here boys, let's just get a drink. And then all of us just merged, and then you realize like, man, these guys are sound. But you have to hate each other.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. It won't be the same.
Yeah. I seriously hope that comes back as well, because that was
derby days. I think I got two. I got two in my first year, and they were both great. And the nights out after were great.
Yeah, even better.
But they were good, those derby days.
Def. But no, they'll come back. We'll bring a petition back. We'll set up our own unnecessary.
Well, yes, we'll do our own. We'll just get current Northumbria and Northumbria alumni. Current Newcastle alumni. If the unis don't want to do it, we'll just get a pitch somewhere and just have a big fight.
Yeah, it sounds a bit more like being in Ireland now.
I'm talking your language now.
Yeah.
Right.
Back to game.
Yeah, we carried on that tangent, but we said we'd stop being on.
Yeah, but that was kind of covering the UK lacrosse.
Yeah, that's it. That's us covering UK lacrosse, which we've been sleeping on a little bit, but it's back. Right. Yeah. America, NCAA.
This week.
This week. We're back on track now.
Yeah. We had some games. And do you want to kick off the first one?
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm not 100% sure where this came in the order, because I've been watching them all on. This one was last Sunday.
It was. Yeah. Sometimes this week.
So I think this is the first one in the standing. But UNC against Syracuse, big game. I was looking forward to watching this one, finally sitting down and watching a full match. Afterwards, I also watched the highlight for the Georgetown-Denver game and realised that I should have done it the other way around. I should have watched the highlights for UNC-Syracuse, and I should have watched the full game for Georgetown-Denver. But it was still a good game. Obviously, big game coming in for UNC. They had been unbeaten. No longer coming in lose after 2 losses. So this is a big game for them. And they absolutely demolished Syracuse. Not because Syracuse were bad. They were sloppy in possession at times, a lot of clearances which they didn't clear, and a lot of unforced turnovers, giving the ball back to UNC, which is not a good idea. They're on absolute fire at the minute. If there's one team you don't want to be giving the ball back to, it's them. They took a 5-0 lead, at the beginning of the first quarter, and Syracuse never came back from that. 9-1 at the end of the first quarter, and it was a very good game in terms of to actually watch. Very fun to watch, very entertaining, but never in any doubt who was going to come out on top of that one. Really,
it was like watching a Newcastle Uni Northumbria game. It was just an absolute.
I thought he'd moved on.
No, just had to bring it back for one last dig.
This is why we need a match, so that I can beat you once.
Never. You're like, I thought it was a really good matchup that both of them were coming in on 2-game losses.
Yeah.
So you didn't know how it would go. Exactly. Big cold streaks there. I thought Syracuse could do it. I think Syracuse needed this win to kind of solidify their spot. They were doing well with Albany, but I think if they beat UNC, boom, they're in for sure. But this is kind of could be falling off here a bit because they're 5-4.
5-4 looks a lot worse than
doesn't it? Like there's 9-2 is UNC. Like you've got Denver 9-3, Georgetown 9-1.
9-2 doesn't look as bad now. I mean, I know everyone thought at this point we probably would be 11-0, but 9-2 looks a lot better than 8-3 for them. I think they're looking back on the up and up.
Yeah, and North Carolina, they actually said that they called this their first complete game. So
I can't disagree. They're like fire every part of the pitch.
It's kind of scary though, because they're like an upgrade from the UNC that actually won the national championship. Remember, they had that kind of dish and dunk into the middle, or they'd play open and they'd crash the crease with two men, peel one off, and just like, again, dish and dunk, like right on the doorstep. And they didn't seem to have much else. And once people figured it out, UNC were going to be gone. But they were dodging from X, wrap around. They were doing outside shots, top corner. Like Cheddar was falling like no tomorrow. And then they were also like feeding it inside. So they had everything. And poor old Desco had his hand on his head and hips more than anybody I've ever seen. He actually said, here's a quote from him. "It's hard. It doesn't feel good. It's extremely disappointing." That's from Desco, one of the most motivated men.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad to hear coming from him, but he's not wrong.
Yeah,
he isn't wrong. I think in terms of, like you were saying, obviously about the change of a game up, I think one of the best goals we scored was, I guess, a kind of dish and dunk. Now you're saying that, but it just, I don't know, it's just one of those goals that the audacity to like go and to even try it. He just swings the ball through about 3 Syracuse defense sticks, just absolutely powers it through.
Bonkers.
And then I think it was Chris Gray, who had a great game, fires the ball through 3 Syracuse defenders. Alex Trippy jumps, catches in midair, and like literally dunks it in like a basketball dunk over the keeper. And it wasn't even. There was more goals like that. That's the one I wrote down because like that was a good goal. But then I was thinking, there was so many good goals like that. Any one of them could have been highlight plays. UNC just. I don't think it's because Syracuse were bad. They weren't at their best. They're definitely still on that cold streak. But the way they played, dominant. I know they got smashed, but I don't think that was all on them. I think so. A lot of that was just on UNC. Killed it. Zach Tucci had a great game at the face-off. Got himself a goal as well.
Yeah.
He was very dominant at the face-off. Syracuse. I mean, it's hard to say if Syracuse lacked there or if UNC were just dominant. But that's how it ended. UNC dominated the face-off. They dominated possession. They didn't cause as many turnovers.
I think they played like they were in the Final Four. But what I put it down to, what I put it down to is that you look good and you play good. Don't get me wrong. Syracuse looked slick in their throwback uniforms. The old SU. You got the blue.
It was a nice kit. And then they got dicked in it.
Yeah. Did you see what UNC turned up in? They're chrome mother in helmets.
See, this is where we're going to disagree. I don't like chrome helmets.
Well, imagine if you got one for free and you could wear it like unironically.
I would love chrome helmets. I would love chrome helmets then. And it was unironically one of the best looking lacrosse games I've seen in both uniforms. If
you rocked up to Northumbria training and you were in a chrome helmet, I'd be like straight away, like, you know what I mean? You're a fool. But
he's the guy we're going to beat up today.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for the idiot with the chrome helmet. I feel like in the UK, that's one of the things in the UK. If someone's got a shiny chrome helmet. I think we've talked about this before. A shiny chrome helmet or a GoPro on the helmet. Yeah, which I did have for a little bit when I was trying to. I think I was doing something for like Ashton's social media or something, trying to get some in-game footage, and I definitely noticed that I was getting a lot more attention off ball than I would have done if I didn't have a big camera on.
Oh, I totally agree. There was a guy in Northumbria that came up with a chrome head, and that's why I knew his name as Chrome. Yeah, he's blonde. He goes to the alumni game. But if you ask anybody who's chrome, they'll point you out to him. He haven't lived it down. That's how much you don't wear chrome in the UK or Ireland. But yeah, they look good, play good, all blacked out uniforms, chrome helmet. You got that they look super cool. So play good, look good. But they got a major Yeah, let's move on to another upset.
Look, sorry, you kind of cut out there. I wasn't sure what you're saying, but just before we move on, very quickly, I do want to, because we've been talking very down on Syracuse. I do think we should shout out Tuka Dordovic, whose name I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but the only player on Syracuse who had a good game, and he had a great game. One of my favorite bits in the whole game was where he absolutely tanks a real nasty slash to the head. He gets double teamed by 2 UNC defenders, fully sandwiched at the halfway line, brushes them off and just walks out of it, gets the flag, and then goes on to assist, they then go on to score their third goal of the game. And in the third quarter, he scores a gorgeous, backhanded, kind of Canadian sort of backhanded no look goal through the keeper's legs.
Yeah.
Insane. He had a great game, but unfortunately he was the only one on the
Don't get me wrong.
But he deserves the praise.
Fair. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slaying off the Syracuse. I just think UNC were so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he was the only player who could keep up.
Yeah.
Well done, Tucker.
Good name.
Friend of a podcast. Such an American name as well.
Yeah, like Zach Morris. But we're moving on. We got Denver v Georgetown. Yet another upset. And Higgs, what did he say?
He got it wrong.
And he got it wrong. He said Denver were going to win because they've got an undefeatable face-off guy in the form of Ireland. And not only did he get beat, but the whole team got beat. And Georgetown came out victors 11-10.
After an insane period of overtime.
Yeah,
I really wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't just watched the highlights for that one. I wish I'd watched the full game. I knew the result, but I didn't know it went to overtime. I didn't know it was that crazy at the end. It was so close throughout as well. The opposite of the last game, where the winners were clear from the first 3 minutes, who was going to win that game pretty much. Never knew which way it was going to go.
But Denver had a 5-2 lead, and you were like, "Oh, here we go again." Denver.
I don't know.
One of their runs.
From the highlights, obviously, it's just the highlights. Maybe it was the way it was edited, but as I was watching it before, I knew. Oh no, I know. I did know the result, but I didn't know at that point if it was going to be that Denver go on a run and then Georgetown pull it back, right at the end, or if they were going to keep neck and neck, which they did. Even knowing the result, because I didn't know which way the game was going to go. Watching it, I had no idea. That game could have gone anyway. Anyone could have gone on a run. Anyone. Or it could have been, as it was, you score one, I score one, and with a couple of runs in there, obviously, the 5-2 lead.
Definitely. But that's what Denver have done. They've gone down massively, gone on 7-goal runs and end up destroying teams' ethos. But Georgetown did the opposite. They actually grinded down Denver, in my opinion. The best quote is the Hoya destroy us. That's exactly what they did. James Riley on the face-off, 66%. He went 16 from 24 against the 14 from 14 legend Ireland.
That's impressive.
And he went 4 from 12. What
happened?
Yeah, 4 from 12. He wasn't feeling it, so they got the next guy on.
Is that it? Bad day at the office?
I don't know.
We're just going to put it down to that.
Do you know what he said? McDermott, so he said, he was quoted saying, look, we kind of knew what they're going to do. I'm not necessarily faster than the 2 guys for Denver, but he was like, I just knew what they're going to do and use that against them, which is quite interesting. Yeah, exactly. He knows what they like to do and what they go to, and then you just use that against them.
I guess that's an issue with being extremely well known for playing one position. If you are supposedly the best in air quotes, we would probably say that, but he didn't prove it in this game. But if you are the best face-off guy, at this level in the world, and you are the most famous face-off guy at this level in the world, then the opposing, I'm sure these guys do their research anyway, but they're going to really do their research on you. They're going to know your game inside out. And, if you want to stay the best, then you need to figure out a way around that. Maybe it's a bad day at the office. Maybe that's going to be his downfall. Maybe people are going to figure him out, and that's it. He's going to crash and burn, and he'll go into the PLL. No one will know what he'll do, and we'll forget about him in a year. Probably not.
But it's up to him to make sure we don't.
It's up to him. No pressure.
Be a fan of the podcast. You'll never be forgotten, Ireland.
No. Will you be our only other friend after
We just need Greg. Greg's like 14 men by himself. That's all we need.
That's true.
But an interesting thing about that Georgetown game, like obviously James Riley destroyed it on face-off for Georgetown, the Hoyas, but he was actually the overtime goal scorer, McDermott. James Riley actually went up to him and said, he gave him a little of advice before the final play. He said, look, just take a little bit off your shots. Take a little bit off and aim where you need to aim, rather than trying to shoot it as hard as you can, which is like advice we all get. But
none of us ever listened to.
Yeah, we all just want to absolutely top cheddar. But Riley went off, listened to it, and scored the OT winner. So James Riley had a serious...
I think you cut out a little bit there.
Okay. So I said, I just said, well, James Riley had a serious impact. Obviously.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, on and off the pitch, I guess.
But yeah, he got my Hoya Destroyer of the Game award. But
Destroyer of the Game.
Yeah, and moving on, this is another one that I think is pretty exceptional. Rutgers, my favorite team, with Connor Kirst, the 6'3", 230 pounds beast who's going number one in the draft.
He's going number one in the draft.
Yeah.
Not Mikey Sowers.
No, Mikey's gone. Because Higgs said Mikey Sowers going first. It's obviously not going to happen.
So he can't. So,
But yeah,
I'll have to go back and look at all his predictions for drafts and stuff now and think again. Because
yeah. Don't worry, I have a section here that we can predict for next week. We're going to do predictions.
Okay, and he's not here, so he can't.
Yeah.
He can't embarrass himself until next week.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Higgs, please do what you think. You give us your predictions so we can laugh. Anyway, it was Rutgers v Johns Hopkins. This was their last chance. Rutgers team coming, it's a good enough mid-table. They're like maybe the Newcastle of the NCAA, but they've come out and forced 17-11 win against Johns Hopkins. In my opinion, that's Johns Hopkins are out. They're 2-7. They're not making it. And Rutgers 7-2 with basically Adam, this name I'm going to butcher, but it's Adam Charlambites. Anyway, he scored 3 goals in 1 minute 45. Absolute beast. And Connor Kirst didn't just sit on the bench and do nothing. No, he stayed in attack and absolutely grinded his something off. And he was still assisting and everything. And still had a massive input. So 17-11 to Rutgers against Johns Hopkins, with Johns Hopkins not scoring a single goal in the final quarter. What?
Oh, that's bad.
What?
I didn't watch that one, but that's making me even. I mean, I like Maryland. If you had to force me to pick a favorite team, I'd probably go Maryland. I'm not too bothered. So I like seeing Maryland win, but I'm already nervous for the game against Johns Hopkins, because if it's going the way it's going, if Johns Hopkins carry on their trajectory and Maryland carrying on their trajectory, it's going to be a massacre.
Yeah. Old Bay will be flying all over the place.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. I am excited, but that is probably going to be a bit of a massacre. When is that? Is that? I said it before. It's this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the final game I was going to say before our predictions was we got to give a shout out to Penn State versus Michigan and Mac O'Keefe, a fellow O'Keefe. Who's not related to me, but probably is some long distance future, even though I'm EE-FE. He's EE-FE. And he's got NCAA Division I all-time goal leader, and he ended up breaking it. Yeah, big up Mac O'Keefe. Big up O'Keefe's. Forte Fideli Nifty Fusil, our Latin coat of arms phrase.
That was, you just slid that right on in there. Just a bit of Latin in the Unnecessary Guffness podcast.
Let's say
we really are upgrade. We're highbrow now.
We're cultural.
Highbrow.
My father's called the Jaguar. So he ended up breaking the record with 213 goals, but finished the game with 216 goals. That ain't going to be caught no time.
No, I think he's solidified that one.
Penn State beat Michigan 14-13, which was a lot closer than you'd expect. Again, Michigan go blue next year. They're coming up hot, but Mac O'Keefe, unbelievable. Fair play to you, my fellow O'Keefean. Our names will be in the record. A friend of the podcast.
Your name will be in the record books, but it will be this guy. It just happens to be your name.
Yeah, exactly. Dara, Mac, it's the same thing.
That's it. Is that 2 weeks? Well, 2 weeks of the most exciting NCAA caught up on.
Yeah, a lot was to get through there. And we got through most of it, so happy days. And yeah, last week Higgs was a disaster at predicting, but this week it's Tom and I who aren't too bad. So I think we're going to kick off with there was a game today between Duke and Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, that's on tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
That should be a good one. These Thursday night matches. What was it? Last Thursday. I know there was a good match last Thursday. Which one was that? It was Virginia Duke.
Notre Dame beat Duke 13-8, but I looked on Inside Lacrosse. They're playing again 22nd. Duke. I think it's at home to Duke rather than at home to Notre Dame. I think it's going to be closer. I probably would give the win to Duke like by a goal because they're at home, but nah, I'm going Notre Dame, baby.
I think I'm going Duke, not just to be awkward, but
going Duke. Okay, Tom.
I think so. Pretty much for the reasons you just said, and then went Notre Dame anyway.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with Duke for those reasons.
Okay. Next up, game-wise, what we're going to predict is a serious grudge match. Navy versus Army.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even know that was coming up. And I've just scrolled down on my Inside Lacrosse finger and I've seen it's this Sunday. Huge. I didn't know that was coming up.
I'm going Army. I would be a Navy fan because Navy skills and they're just kick-ass Army-wise. But in this game, I'm going to say Army are going to win.
I mean, I don't know. I think this could go either way.
Okay.
I haven't watched loads of the matches. They both got pretty similar records. I think I've not heard of either of them do anything insanely spectacular.
You have. Army beat Syracuse.
Oh God, yes, a couple of weeks ago. Oh right, yeah. Well, if Army beats Syracuse, yeah. Army is still riding that high. Go Army.
Okay,
I'm going for Army as well.
I'm such a Navy fan though. They're like Navy and gold, and they're just kick ass.
They look slicker.
Yeah. Okay, next game on the 24th as well. Virginia versus Syracuse. I'm going Virginia.
Yeah, I'm going Virginia.
Yeah. Just copying the lucky Irishman now.
I mean, after that match, I'm not going Syracuse. Syracuse are feeling sorry for themselves.
Yeah,
and I feel like in order for it to be the story, it's got to be if they're going to go into even more of a slump, get beat by Virginia, get a couple more losses, and then come back strong.
Oh, I like the way you think, Tom.
Three losses in a row and then coming back against Virginia would be nice, but get another loss to Virginia and then. Another maybe embarrassing upset, and then we need one more for it to be a story. Otherwise, it's just a bump in the road. One more is a story.
Yeah, I agree. And Virginia, the Cavaliers, like the firepower they have is
100%. And again, with Syracuse, with these silly turnovers that we seem to like to be causing at the minute, not another team you want to be giving up possession to, but probably will be doing so. Definitely. Virginia will probably capitalize.
So we'll give Higgs Syracuse on that one. We're going to give Higgs Navy on the second one. And I don't know what Higgs will say because we're both split on Duke versus Notre Dame. So we'll leave that one off. Well, we'll probably give him Notre Dame, will we?
I've been checking my phone, but he mustn't be listening. He must be working hard. Good on him.
Oh,
I thought if he wasn't, he'd have texted. He must be hard at work.
Yeah, okay. Okay, the next game that we have to predict on the 24th is...
Big day.
Big day, isn't it? Johns Hopkins versus Maryland, Old Bay.
I mean, Maryland.
And Higgs
put Higgs down for Johns Hopkins.
The boy Higgs. And then the final game on the 25th is North Carolina versus Notre Dame.
That's huge.
I'm going Notre Dame because they're going to beat Duke, so they're just boom.
Nah, after the last UNC game I watched, I can't. They're on a roll. They're hot. They're looking good. I fancy them.
I'm just going to leave Higgs in the middle on that one because Notre Dame.
Higgs is going for a draw, which don't exist in lacrosse. It goes to, if the draw, it goes to overtime, golden goal. So Higgs can go for a draw.
Yeah, 100%. Notre Dame
losing record. Keep it with it.
Go on, Higgs. So there, I'll keep this obviously till next week, and we'll see how we get on because who knows how those predictions are going to go down. But there's plenty of lacrosse. Like that's.
I hope we're wrong, because if we're wrong, that means there's some big upsets in there.
Notre Dame are going... Seriously, I told you, lads, Notre Dame, this is the year. I can smell it and taste it in the air. I can smell the gold.
Yeah, Irish senses are tingling.
Oh, they're forever tingling this year. 100%. That gold helmet, finally they'll be on the top step and you'll be like, yes.
You're manifesting it.
Oh,
If you say it enough, it might happen.
If you just... Notre Dame already won. There you go. It's been manifested.
That's got to happen.
Go Irish.
So that was pretty much our NCAA roundup. And it's probably time to now, 10 minutes left, move on to a little bit of PLL news.
Oh, yeah.
Which there is. Again, the last few weeks, things have settled down in the world of the Premier Lacrosse League. No drafts as yet. The draft is coming up in the next few days, I think. I think by this time next week, will it have happened? I'll need to double check that.
Is it 26?
I was thinking 26th, 27th, but it's like in a minute, the days are blurring into one. But the big news that did drop was the 2021 season schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty excited because when this first dropped, it was just with a post just saying back in season, June 4th to September 19th. That's like 3.5 months of lacrosse.
Yes, man.
Happy days. I am happy with that. No more bubble. They didn't say there was going to be a bubble, but I was still thinking, I don't really know exactly what COVID is like in America. I thought there was still a chance of that. But
they're just out. America just.
Oh yeah. It's still bad, but they're doing their own thing.
Yeah,
they're tackling it in their own way.
I love it. I'm like, go on, America, just open everything up. Go on.
I mean, there's a lot of people sick. A lot of people are dying. But live lacrosse.
Oh, come on. Don't be bringing that. Positive vibes only, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Positive. But they are on the road.
Yeah. Class.
I've seen a few people angry that they're not going to a few places. I think
really
is it Texas they're not going to, and people aren't happy about that because Texas and lacrosse, they'd get a lot of people down there. There's some big lacrosse unis around there. I saw one person getting angry about the Midwest, but I think that was the one person in the Midwest who has internet. I don't know about the Midwest. I just imagine it's like the Wild West.
Midwest is terrible. Midwest is Denver.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I know the Midwest, because I went there for the World Champs. That's it.
I think I saw someone was angry about they're not going there, or they're not there long enough, or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is that I've just got the schedule up here, and it's a really low quality picture, and I can't actually read where they are. I'm gonna have to get close.
It's definitely going to be like East Coast, obviously. Maybe Delaware. Is that so?
We've got it here. June 4th to the 6th, they're in Boston. 11th to 13th, Atlanta. 25th to 27th, Baltimore. And then July 2nd to 4th, Long Island, so New York. July 9th to 11th, Minneapolis. July 18th, just a one-day stop in San Jose, California, I think. CA, I think that's California. And then July 30th to August 1st, Colorado Springs.
That'd be class.
And then there are some fairly big breaks in between. Like, for example, this one, August 1st, and then the next one's August 13th when we're in Albany, to August 15th, and then August 20th to 21st. This is the
finals and all-star games kind of thing.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah, they'll be like
Salt Lake City, which is where the whole thing was last year, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And then 2 semi-final matches in Philadelphia, and then the final is at Audi Field in Washington, D.C. on Saturday the 19th.
Oh, I can't wait.
No, it says September the 19th. It might be a Saturday. It's definitely the 19th.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to get lacrosse back.
I'm so excited for professional lacrosse to be back.
And like lacrosse PLL are doing so much good stuff. Like I I love the thing for every 2 bomb that the Redwoods score.
I just saw that. Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, they're going to plant 30 trees with Green Sport Alliance.
And for every ticket sold to a PLL match, they're planting a tree.
Yeah,
they're brilliant.
Like
I'm not surprised with the PLL. The PLL is so good for stuff like this.
Lacrosse, I think, and like the PLL are really. That's why I got into lacrosse, because the community is unbelievable. Yeah, and like they're actually putting it into a mass market, a company market. They're putting all that ethos. Like the PLL are doing it right.
Yeah, and shout out Paul Rabel. I know we've clowned on him in the past, but yeah, he's a good guy, a very a good positive role model, doing what he's doing with his league.
He's a legend.
And like Paul and Mike. He's a legend. And all these ideas, I'm sure, he's not the only guy, but I wouldn't be surprised at all that he had a hand in this. Yeah. He owns the league, and this is just such a him thing to do. How can we do something positive during the game? We'll put Redwoods, who have Perkovic, the 2-point bomber, on their team. And every time they score a 2-pointer, which will be a lot with Perkovic, 30 trees planted.
Oh, a legend. And
quality idea.
A legend to Brendan Coleman, who works at the PLL. He's head of marketing and department and everything. He's unbelievable. So he's constantly give him a shout out as well, because he's a absolute legend. Brendan Coleman, the PLL. They're all good people in there.
Selling charity T-shirts as well. PLL for the planet.
Yeah. Oh, I want to get one. But speaking of good people, will we get on to one of the greatest person?
We've got 5 minutes. Can we squeeze in to end our first show with a proper retro Breakfast Club?
Yes.
The man himself, the daddy of lacrosse, as no one's called him until right now, Gary Gait.
Oh, brilliant intro, Tom. Let me just set the scene. So we got Gary Gait. He's a very stylish man, but during the day, this is what I said, it's going to be like a Sunday league kind of game. So he's waking up in his house, and he's not going business. He's not getting into his suit. He's not getting all formal and clean shaven. No, he has a bit of a beard. He's getting in his plaid shirt. You know what I mean? He's ripped jeans, his boots, and he's heading down to the breakfast table. Nice wood log cabin, log wood, whatever. Get them words together. And he's walking down them stairs. Traditional
cabin log wood.
Yeah. Okay. Can't speak tonight. Anyway, English is my second language. I can speak Irish if you want.
Go on. We've already had Latin.
No, I want to finish this off.
Okay, go. 4 minutes.
And then, so basically he's coming down, nice, quite shirt, plaid shirt, puts on the fake beard, clean shaven. He's working the Monday morning. Now he has to be clean shaven though, and he's coming down to breakfast, filling up on one of the greatest dishes Canada has, goulash. He's washing
Canadian boy.
Yes, he's washing the beef, the garlic, the onion, maybe even a bit of red wine if you're feeling a bit frisky. Bit of tomato sauce and lots of cheese. We're lobbing that in. We're talking pepper jack with mozzarella, get a bit of cheddar in there, Edam, bit of Gouda. And then he finishes off because he needs energy to do the air gate. And he's ticking on a couple of years. So what does he wash it down with? Yeah, that's right, a pint of maple syrup. That's what gives him.
Yeah. Of course.
As it gives him the legs, up and over, boom, he's going to be
on the back of a moose, under a maple tree. He's Canadian, by the way.
And he created the air gate, which is jumping 6 feet from behind the goal and dunking, basically. What do you think, Tom?
I'm with you thinking about air gate. I'm thinking he needs to get over that net from behind to do that. What gives you wings? Bucket of Red Bull. Gary Gait, bucket of Red Bull straight onto the pitch. All that stuff you said, that's so much food. It's so bloated. He ain't running with that. There's no way after eating all that, he's getting off the ground. Never mind over a net. He's having a lie down. He's in a food coma. No, bucket of Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings. Yeah, and using those wings to jump over the back of the goal and dunk it over the keeper.
He'll be flying himself to a hospital because his heart will be jumping over his chest.
I mean, I can say from experience that too much Red Bull before a match, multiple cans of Red Bull before a lacrosse match doesn't actually give you wings or more energy. It gives you heart palpitations. But yeah, it does. Gary Gait's built different. Daddy of lacrosse.
Yeah, it's true. I think the maple syrup will be a bit more toned down one. Yeah, it might be not so good for his health, but it would give him that extra 2 foot in his jump. I don't think he needs to.
Every inch counts. Every inch counts.
I'll just do this Airgate now. Fly to the hospital.
When was Airgate and when did we start selling Red Bull? Like Google. Airgate.
96 is Airgate.
Date.
93.
Oh, I spelled gate wrong.
Oh gosh. G-A-I-T.
No one's gonna know. No one cares. 1988. Yeah, Airgate 1988 NCAA Lacrosse semi-finals, Syracuse, Penn State. That's that one. Red Bull founded.
I'll be quick, Tom. We only have 30 seconds.
1984. He was drinking buckets of Red Bull before every match for 4 years before Airgate.
Confirmed.
And it paid off. Confirmed. And it paid off. Friend of the podcast, Gary Gait, will confirm. Just awaiting confirmation. And on that breakthrough of investigative journalism, I think we're going to call an end to this first episode of Long Ass Unnecessary Guffness. We did it.
Yes.
You've got 20 seconds left. Do you want to say anything about next week's show or not?
Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Watch this back with our faces on it.
And plenty more stuff to come on the YouTube channel as well. We'll have plenty of stuff. I've got 4 seconds. I love you all and see you soon.
Good night. There we go.